coverage. But right about now, in the headlines, police are questioning 5 people over the abduction of Juja Member of Parliament George Koimburi, as reports say that Karen Hospital refused to let DCI officers see him, and some members of Parliament are now pushing for the arrest of former Deputy President, that is Rigathi Gachagua, over remarks of fueling fears of election chaos in 2027. And over to the coast, President Ruto met with political leaders and says recent reforms in key sectors have helped bring down inflation from 9.6% to 3.5%, while in Kiambu, doctors have kicked off their strike, even though a court order tried to stop it at the last minute. Details coming up in this bulletin, and definitely sports at the tail end of this particular live broadcast. Now, governors are speaking out. They want development partners to work directly with counties through the Council of Governors, saying the national government is slowing things down. According to them, too many bureaucratic hurdles are getting in the way and delaying important projects on the ground. Speaking from Naivasha, Council of Governors Vice Chair Mutahi Kahiga said the delays are hurting progress in the counties. He's calling for changes, saying it's time to let devolved units actually grow and deliver results without all the red tape.
The Council of Governors has yet again expressed frustrations over the delayed disbursement of additional funds meant to fund programs in the devolved units in the 2024-2025 fiscal year. According to the county bosses, the National Treasury has ganged up with the MPs to frustrate the implementation of health, education and agriculture projects, among others.
We are yet, as counties, to actually receive the monies that were appropriated under the County Government's Additional Allocation Act. And it's barely how many days to the fiscal year end?
When and until we address that issue of timely release of all disbursements, then some of these programs may always be having a reporting of below 50% in terms of performance. And you cannot blame it to the governors, you can't blame it to the county governments, you can't blame it to implementing agencies.
And it is a fallacy for anyone to think that money reaching counties is not spent. We are perfectly capable of spending all the money within the timelines, and nobody else. In fact, the World Bank knows that better than anybody else.
The governor spoke in Naivasha at a sensitization workshop on the second Kenya Devolution Support Program, a 4-year World Bank-funded program supporting implementation of devolution through strengthening county performance in financing, management, coordination and accountability.
KDSP2 seeks to build on the legacy of KDSP1 with a sharper focus on reforms, performance and inclusion.
As we all know, the country currently faces fiscal constraints which have affected available resources across the board. Yet within the challenge lies a great opportunity, an opportunity to rethink and strengthen on-source revenue collection at county level. Under KDSP2, OSR is a key reform outcome.
The county bosses also called for the reinstatement of the Ministry of Devolution to oversee the implementation of devolved system of governance.
It's a state department. So what are we saying? Is that our commitment to devolution? What we are saying is we would want a fully fledged ministry that is really ensuring that we stop teetering and we walk straight and make giant steps towards full realization of devolution.
As the country enters the second decade of devolution, stakeholders meeting in Naivasha have termed KDSP2 as a more timely opportunity to reflect, to reset, and to recommit to a more efficient system of devolution. Reporting for KBC Channel 1 from Naivasha, my name is Joseph Wahungu.
Thank you, Joseph Okungu, for that report. Now, some members of parliament want action taken against former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. They are calling for his arrest over comments he recently made during a media interview, remarks they say could stir up tension as the country heads towards the 2027 general election. This all came up during a heated debate in Parliament led by National Assembly Minority Leader, that is Junet Mohammed. Lawmakers argue that if Gachagua isn't held accountable, his words could inflame ethnic divisions and even spark violence in some areas. They're now urging the Inspector General of Police to step in and make sure Gachagua, who now leads the Democracy for Citizens Party, responds to a summons by the National Cohesion and Integration Commission.
The dogs.
I want to ask Kenyans not to listen to insightful people, not to listen to people who want to divide them according to their tribes, not to listen to people who have formed regional, tribal, ethnic political parties, Mr. Speaker.
No Kenyan should ever die for politics. I want to agree with Honorable Junet that when we said that never again, we should never ever again entertain the politics of bloodshed in this country.
Wajua yuko kama yule mtoto Mheshimiwa Spika ambaye wageni wakija unamficha kwa sababu ataharibu. Yule mpe mic tu kidogo Mheshimiwa Gachagua ashaharibu kila kitu. Juzi ameenda kuchapa wale walikuwa na msupport ambao ni artist. Leo amewachapa. Kesho atafanya mengine na mengine. Kwa hiyo sisi tunasema rais shika kasi. Sisi tuko ndani ya broad based government na tutakusukuma mbele.
It's about time we call out the NCIC, we call out the National Police Service, we call out the IG for selectively, you know, for being selective on matters, law, Honorable Speaker, because it's about time Wamunyoro be arrested.
I know some guys are fearing that maybe his community or this and that will bring something. We don't care. Kenyans are 42 communities in this country. And the law should be, you know, applied the way it is, fair and square.
I just want to really support this motion because I cannot imagine in any way as a country, as the young people of this country, that we can be taken back to what happened in 2007. And anyone who supports that kind of utterances, Honorable Speaker, I'd just like to say to them, shame on you.
Anybody who believes that Ruto must go away, then they must remove them through an election. Not what was staged on 26th of June last year, which in itself was an attempted coup.
Police say they are making progress in the case of Juja Member of Parliament George Koimburi's alleged abduction. Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja says 5 people have already been questioned and their statements recorded. But there's a twist. Detectives haven't been able to access the Member of Parliament himself. According to Kanja, they were blocked from entering his hospital ward, which is now raising even more eyebrows. This comes as pressure mounts from both Parliament and the opposition, who are demanding a full investigation into what really happened to the Member of Parliament. We'll see if we can bring you that story a little bit later. Doctors in Kiambu County have officially downed their tools despite last-minute efforts by the county government to stop them. The county tried to block the strike through a court injunction, but it wasn't enough to change the doctors' minds. According to Dr. Abidan Mwachi, the national chair of the Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union, the strike is a result of long-standing frustrations. He says doctors in Kiambu are dealing with serious issues: no access to medical cover, being stuck in the same job group for years, and even being transferred arbitrarily. Bottom line, they say the county hasn't addressed their concerns, and now they're taking a stand.
Solidarity forever. The Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union had issued a 21-day strike notice that lapsed on Monday, ushering in the strike. Solidarity forever. The strike comes hours after the county government failed to obtain an injunction to halt the strike at the 11th hour.
And they were not given those injunctions, and despite being given a fairly balanced hearing, they chose to serve us at 7 p.m. last night for a hearing that is meant to happen this morning.
According to KMPDU, despite numerous dialogue attempts, Kiambu County has failed to uphold the welfare of doctors.
Kiambu has the highest resignation rate of doctors in the country. Our doctors have been working for years on end. And to give a particular example, the doctors worked 14 years at the same job group, almost going into retirement. They have money to do everything else other than to provide quality healthcare. 23 new brick and mortar white elephants being built, but there is no money to hire specialists at the specialist remuneration. When a doctor raises such issues, they are transferred arbitrarily. A single doctor has been transferred up to 5 times within 6 months.
We cannot continue working any longer, more than 40 hours per week, being denied leave, and our seniors being threatened if they offer the doctors leave.
The union says that despite the doctors offering critical services, they have been unable to access treatment, leading to a surge in fundraising drives.
Kiambu has the highest number of doctors either undergoing rehabilitation or already admitted because of drug abuse and alcoholism.
During the strike, one doctor will be on call at the casualty and emergency departments to stabilize critical cases before referring them to another county for further care.
I want to advise our people of the neighboring counties to sympathize with our patients from Kiambu because they'll be seeking services from them. Only patients in the ward that will remain as of now are patients who are critical, and as soon as they are stable enough to be discharged, they shall be discharged. All the patients in the ICU shall remain in the ICU, and our doctors in ICU shall continue to attend to them. All other services that are not essential, be they clinics, be they rounds, be they other pharmacy, dental procedures, shall not be conducted in any hospital.
A spot check in hospitals in Kiambu revealed that clinical officers are seeing patients, but they cannot admit them.
Thank you, Nancy Okware. President William Ruto says the economy is bouncing back thanks to key reforms in agriculture, tourism and manufacturing. Speaking during a meeting with leaders from Coast Region at State House, Nairobi, Ruto said the changes made over the last 2 years, 2.5 years that is, are finally paying off. According to him, inflation has dropped significantly from 9.6% down to 3.5%. He also touched on land issues that have long plagued the coast, telling leaders from the 6 counties that his government is actively working to resolve historical land injustices. That includes tackling the squatter problem and issuing title deeds to the locals.
Days after hosting leaders and residents from Ukambani region, President William Ruto on Tuesday morning met with leaders from Mombasa, Tana River, Kilifi, Lamu, Kwale and Taita Taveta counties to drum up support for key government projects in the region. The head of state used the occasion to state the country's economic progress.
The economy of Kenya in 2 years, we have overtaken Angola, we have overtaken Ethiopia. In 2022, our economy was number 8 in Africa, 8th largest. Today, we are the 6th largest economy in Africa.
Ruto says the effect of the economic growth is a drop to inflation from 9.6% to 3.5%.
Many people cannot believe it could happen. Foreign exchange reserves ambayo tulikuwa nayo was about $6.something billion. Now we are closing almost $10 billion of foreign exchange reserves. And that is the reason why today we can now discuss how to build the roads. That is why we can even do the securitization, because we can go to the market and borrow at reasonable rates. There was no way we would have gone to the market if our economy had, if we had defaulted.
Ruto further told the leaders from the 6 counties of the coast that his administration is sorting out historical land injustices in the region.
Bei ya kahawa imeongezeka per kilo from 50 shillings to 150. This year, 3 times what it was. Ile matatizo tumekuwa nayo ya mambo ya sukari, I have sorted it out. Go to any big town today in Kenya. Go to Mandera. Go to Garissa. Go to anywhere. The largest housing development is affordable housing.
Mining Cabinet Secretary Ali Hassan Joho and his sports counterpart Salim Vuria rallied leaders from the region to support the broad-based government in the run-up to the 2027 polls.
Wale ambao hawataki ni wao, sisi tuwataka. Na kila wakikataa sisi tuko. Kukipungua huko sisi tuko tayari kufanya nini? Kujaza. So mimi yangu tu ni kupatia shukrani na kuhakikishia kwamba sisi kama watu wako tutafanya ile kazi ambayo umetupatia.
That we are sitting like this mpaka na Joho hapa namna hii. Kwa sababu saa ingine tumekuwa mmoja ako huku na kundi lake, mmoja ako huku na kundi lake, lakini safari hii sote tuko ndani ya broad based.
Sasa tuachie huyu rais atuambie twende right na twende right. Akisema twende left kama watu wa pwani, ili tukae katika hiyo serikali na hiyo inayokuja, tukae hapo ndani
ya kwamba uhusiano wako wewe na baba Raila Amolo Odinga utaendelea, na kwamba tutaendelea sisi tukiamini ya kwamba mpaka.
Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja is asking Parliament for more funding, specifically 6.3 billion shillings to help recruit and train 10,000 new police officers. Speaking before the National Assembly's Administration and Security Committee, Kanja said the current allocation of 2.9 billion shillings isn't enough to meet the target, especially with the 2027 general election on the horizon. He also shared that the National Police Service is planning to bring in the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission along with tech tools to keep the recruitment process clean and transparent. The exercise is expected to kick off next month.
For the last 3 years, the National Police Service has not conducted nationwide recruitment. During the period, at least 4,500 officers have since left the service. To fill the vacancies, the National Police Service wants to recruit and train at least 10,000 police officers.
Do whatever it takes to ensure that.
Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja, while briefing the National Assembly Administration and Security Committee on measures to put to ensure the recruitment is transparent, also decried inadequate budgetary allocations, requesting for an additional 3.5 billion shillings on top of the 2.9 billion shillings currently allocated.
And in order for us to recruit and train around 10,000 police officers, we need around 6.3 billion. So that means that we are down by around.
You can repeat the budget for training, kitting, the huge budget. It is so big. We will fight to ensure that IG and the command gets that. It is their role. But please, that what belongs to the commission should be ring-fenced for it.
According to the Inspector General, the recruitment exercise scheduled for June will be merit-based and free from corruption. To enhance integrity, the IG revealed that recruitment officers will undergo a lifestyle audit.
The idea is to address inclusivity, transparency, accountability, and public confidence. But hidden into all that is to address the issue of corruption.
So mitigation strategy in place is to ensure that we deploy EACC, the media, IPOA, and the other observers. Integrity declarations by officers, also anonymous reporting tools, and strict disciplinary and legal actions.
And to boost the public confidence, the National Police Service wants civil societies and religious groups to act as observers in the recruitment exercise.
And thank you, Kevin Washera, for that report. We head to Safari Park, where we are joined by Mike Migwi. My colleague is at the Safari Park Hotel and telling us more about what's happening in as far as the National Prayer Day is concerned. Mike, if you can hear me, take it away and just bring us up to speed with what is happening there.
Indeed. We are coming to you live from the Safari Park Hotel, where the National Prayer Breakfast is happening, and the event is going to be graced by none other than His Excellency the President, that is William Samoei Ruto. This is an annual event that happens every year and has been happening for the last 22 years. The first National Prayer Breakfast was done in 2002, and it has been happening till date. And this is an event that brings together all leaders from political class, private sector, religious leaders, just to come together and reflect on the shared values, the national values that we share as a country. And this event usually happens on the last Thursday of the month of May, but this is a deviation from the norm, which is happening today, which is being a Wednesday, and we shall be giving you details, or we shall be bringing you events as they unfold. Leaders are streaming in. The president is yet to come in, but once he is in, we shall be bringing you live or the speeches that will happen. It's a high-profile annual event organized by the bicameral Parliament of Kenya, that is the Senate and the National Assembly. And this year's theme is Rise and Rebuild, which is a rallying call for Kenyans and everyone who is in this country to unite across Kenya's political, economic, social, and everything that touches on matters to do with national unity. This year's as I've said, it has been held every Thursday of every last Thursday of the month of May, and today it's happening on the Wednesday. But one of the things that we'll be looking out for is a speech by a motivational speaker, that is Ricky Allen Bolden, who is going to grace the event and also give a speech concerning, more importantly, the theme of this event. Remember, this is coming at a time when Kenya is grappling with rising political temperatures, economic, people talking about economic times, and also the aspect of the youth unrest that has been associated with what this famously called Gen Zs. They have been talking about matters to do with good governance, political tolerance, and also good economic times. Of course, we shall be bringing you live coverage of this event, and also we shall be talking to some of the members of Parliament that will be coming to this event. So keep it KBC Channel 1 and Good Morning Kenya. We shall be talking to some of them just to get a feel of what they think the event will achieve, especially when it comes to the theme of Rise and Rebuild. So this is an event that will be coming to you live, and I will be here together with the crew to bring you up to speed with whatever that is happening right here at Safari Park Hotel, where the National Prayer Breakfast is happening. My name is Mike Megwe. Right about now, I want to take you back to the broadcasting house, Nairobi.
Thank you so much, Mike, for keeping us up to speed with what is happening at Safari Park, the National Prayer Breakfast happening there. You've seen people coming in and all the activities that are going on. It's yet to take off, but the minute it does that, Mike will be back to give us more on what will be happening there. You know, just the theme there, Rise, Arise and Rebuild, definitely right on time, at a time that Kenya and Kenyans are grappling with so much. But we'll be bringing you more details later on in this program, Good Morning Kenya. But let's move on with the news, where Defense Cabinet Secretary Soipan Tuya has lauded the National Defense College. Speaking at the graduation ceremony of 66 officers in Karen, Tuya praised the college for its ongoing role in promoting peace and security, and not just in Kenya, but across the region and the continent. She also highlighted the importance of innovation and ethical leadership, saying they are key ingredients for excellence, especially within the military ranks.
The graduation ceremony for course 27 of 2024-2025 marked the culmination of 49 weeks of a rigorous and transformative academic program for 66 participants drawn from Kenya Defence Forces, various ministries and allied nations from across Africa and Asia.
Brigadier General Gilbert Alan Mitawa.
While affirming the college's commitment to nurturing forward-thinking leaders equipped with intellectual tools to analyze, assess and respond to today's complex security challenges, Cabinet Secretary Soipan Tuya urged the graduates to use the skills acquired here as they step into the positions of strategic leadership.
Today's security landscape, underscored by terrorism and cyber threats to climate change and economic shocks, demands strategic leaders who are not only informed, but resilient, adaptive, and visionary.
This evening, as College Commandant Lieutenant General Juma Munyikai reiterated the college's commitment to train and develop the capacity of potential decision makers in government, ensure interoperability to address contemporary challenges and other emerging security threats jointly while developing abilities to work together.
Engaged in rigorous academic study, strategic analysis, and practical exercises, honing their ability to think critically, act decisively, and lead with integrity.
Be the leader whose presence inspires trust, unity, and performance. Lead by example. Let your integrity, professionalism, and strategic foresight light the path for others.
The graduates were further urged to uphold the highest principles of duty, honor, and service. The allied countries that participated in this year's course are Botswana, Burkina Faso, Burundi, Egypt, Ethiopia, India, Malawi, Namibia, Nepal, Nigeria, Rwanda, Somalia, South Sudan, Tanzania, and Uganda.
The judiciary has called on the Director of Public Prosecutions, Renson Igonga, to take appropriate action within his constitutional mandate against Senior Counsel Abdinasser Abdullahi for disparaging the institution, its leadership and the judges with relentless and baseless claims of corruption. Last week, the judiciary took the unprecedented step to request the ODPP to call for investigations into his conduct. At a press briefing, judiciary spokesperson Paul Ndemo said that as an institution, they have reiterated their openness to scrutiny and their will to be held accountable by urging persons with credible evidence of misconduct against the staff to present it.
Becoming and unprofessional of an advocate with the status of senior counsel, but potentially serves to erode public confidence in the judiciary and eventually undermine the rule of law, which is one of the ideals upon which our constitutional democracy is founded. This pattern of conduct is not only unbecoming and unprofessional of an advocate with the status of senior counsel, but potentially serves to erode public confidence in the judiciary and eventually undermine the rule of law.
And detectives probing the murder of Kasipul member of National Assembly, that is Charles Ongondowere, have until June 26 to complete investigations on businessman Philip Aroko. Justice Diana Kavedza of the Kibra High Court further released Aroko, the alleged financier in the murder, and retained the 300,000 shillings bond and strict conditions that had been set by the Jomo Kenyatta International Court. The Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions had requested for continued detention of Aroko, citing he has crucial information that is important to the investigations.
Tuesday at the Kibra Law Court, and businessman Philip Aroko was presented after 8 days in custody.
But I still presented myself to the police station where the orders indicated that I was supposed to be. So actually they found me there. That confirms the compliance.
Prosecuting counsel Gekoye Geshoe gave the court an inventory of the details that have so far helped investigators to piece together tight evidence for prosecution. While giving his ruling, Judge Diana Kavesa ordered him to deposit his passport in court and prohibited him from visiting Homa Bay County or its surroundings, among other conditions.
The respondent shall report to the lead investigator every 2 days
as submitted by the prosecution counsel.
So far, 12 suspects have been arrested, with 11 of them in custody as investigations into Eres murder on 30th April this year continues. After being rearrested last Monday, Oroko is free after adducing compelling reasons to the court, albeit with strict conditions. At the Milimani, local petitioners challenged the manner in which numerous key positions within the Kenyan Public Service have been filled. In the petition, Lempasu Yanka seeks to stop the president from appointing additional advisors and are also senior appointees arguing that is ballooning the wage bill.
Duplicative, because there is a very competent civil service that we believe is underpaid, but these political appointees and cronies are paid millions of shillings.
The petition pokes holes in the legal framework and regulations outlining how many advisors the president can appoint, creating a loophole that allows the head of state to flood the civil service with what he termed as political appointees.
There is nothing that the so-called legal advisors or human rights advisors can advise the president, which the office of the Attorney General cannot.
Elsewhere in Mombasa, Shakil Ali Mohammed, who has been accused of stealing 6.9 million shillings from his employer Gateway Marine Service in Mombasa, will remain in custody for 8 days. Appearing before Mombasa Senior Resident Magistrate Gladys Olimo, Shakil denied the charges.
In view of the foregoing, the court sides with the prosecution that the documents presented in court on 23rd May 2025 be verified in order to establish their authenticity.
The matter will be mentioned on June 5th. Ruth Wamboi for Good Morning, Kenya.
Thank you, Ruth Wamboi. To the counties now, where Nyandarua County Governor Dr. Moses Kiare Badilisha has called on residents to embrace tree farming as a dual strategy to boost household incomes and nutrition and combat the adverse effects of climate change. Speaking during a visit to Karonji Farm, a private venture specializing in tree fruit farming, Governor Badilisha emphasized the untapped potential in fruit production. More in the County News Roundup.
Nyandarua County Governor Dr. Kiare Badilisha says county government is continuously developing partnerships to support contract farming arrangements for select crop varieties in order to ensure market and price guarantees.
The beauty of using fruit trees is that they have got very good canopy, but at the same time, you still earn a living through the trees.
And the Department of Education and Industrial Skills Development, in collaboration with the Department of Public Works, has initiated the construction of 175 new early childhood development education classrooms in all 35 wards in Busia County to reduce overcrowding in existing centers. Finally, the Kenya County Government Workers Union has raised concerns over the failure by county governments to remit workers' pension contributions, accusing them of withholding over 40 billion shillings meant for the local authorities' provident fund.
40 billion outstanding. We can't invest. I established a task force early this year to examine the outstanding debts, recommend measures to address the historical liabilities, and ensure such behavior is permanently addressed.
Treasury and National Planning Cabinet Secretary John Badi and KCGW National Secretary General Ruba Duba made the remarks in Kisumu County during the 14th LAP Fund Annual General Meeting.
A look at business now, where Cabinet Secretary for Information, Communication and Digital Economy, William Kabogo, has called on African governments to scale up funding to help bridge the digital gap. Kabogo, who spoke during the Connected Africa Summit 2025, also called for the implementation of the Nairobi Declaration on fostering a connected and empowered Africa to fast-track digital inclusion in Africa.
According to the Mo Ibrahim Forum report, 89% of learners in sub-Saharan Africa do not have access to household computers, while 82% lack internet access. To fast-track the deployment and adoption of digital services, The African Union has crafted the Agenda 2063 that seeks to connect the continent with the fast internet, lower the cost of broadband, while at the same time creating a digitally progressive society.
We've been referring to Africa and some other nations as South-South. I tell you, one time they will refer to Africa as the giant of digitality in the world. And I know that is coming. So we pull up our socks, we get together. Sometimes I hope we can close our boundaries for some time and just deal with ourselves in here in Africa.
Speaking during the ongoing Connected Africa Summit 2025, Cabinet Secretary in the Ministry of Information, Communications and the Digital Economy, William Kabogo, says there is need to increase funding to the sector for Africa to reap maximum benefits of the fast-evolving technology. The ICT Authority Chief Executive Officer Stanley Kamangoya has highlighted the importance of assessing progress and addressing challenges in realizing the Nairobi Declaration's objectives.
We have African Union as an important instrument to aid us to realize our politics in this, in the technology process, technology advance, and that is our common voluntary.
The three-day event brings policymakers, investors and innovators together to deliberate on the industry that is fast evolving and emerging as a key pillar of socio-economic development in Africa.
There is a clear understanding that no one really understands where the sector is going, but there is a consensus.
Thank you, Brian Kimani, for that report. And we take you straight to Safari Park, where the National Prayer Breakfast is underway right now. So let's get to listen to what's happening there.